To worksheet 8, we're talking about first and second conjugation verbs today. So, a little bit of a review, a little recap. Everybody could use this. How to tell what conjugation a verb is, right? It is all about, we're going to go master zoom here. It's all about these first two principal parts, particularly the second principal part. So, if that second principal part ends in a long ARE, really any ARE, it's going to be first conjugation. Okay. The reason I say check the first is because there are some conjugations that depend on, what the first principal part looks like. So first conjugation is your long ARE verbs like laudo, laudare. Second conjugation is your long ERE verbs, okay, like mordeo. And second conjugation is always going to have that E before the O as well. So that's another sign. Third conjugation will have a short ERE, okay, and just an O. Third IO will have a short ERE and an IO. And fourth will have an IRE with an IO. Okay, so there's a chart on those on the slides, the principal part slides that you guys have on Google Classroom. You can Google it, right? If you're trying to figure out how to tell the different conjugations, easy money. Okay. Like I've said in class so many times, the reason conjugations are awesome is because every verb in that conjugation conjugates exactly the same way. Okay, so first things first, the I form, the very first form that a verb can take, the first singular present form, is right here. So you never want to get that one wrong. Okay, right now, right now. Once you get past that form, you need the stem, and the stem comes from this second principal part. Hey, Rajika. So we're going to chop off that RE. Okay, and we're going to have lauda, right, with that long A. And that's why we get laudas, right? We add our ending. Laudat, laudamus, laudatis, and laudant. The long marks do go away in a couple of the forms, like laudat and laudant, and that's just because pronunciation. We don't really have a long sound there. It's just laudant. Long A's and short A's really don't sound very different from each other. E's, however, it's going to make a difference. The imperfect tense, that's your was or were, or just past tense sometimes. We're going to take that stem, lauda, and we're going to add bam, bas, bat, bamus, batis, bant. That BA makes it imperfect. Okay? And for future, we add bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, and bunt. And we can only do this for first and second conjugation verbs. This whole bo, bis, bit thing only works for first and second conjugation. So for this worksheet, that's all we need. Second conjugation is going to follow pretty much the same pattern, except everywhere you had those A's from the stem, you now have the letter E, which ironically enough is pronounced A. So for present tense, we have our first form here, mordeo, from right up here. Mordace, mordet, mordemus, mordatus, mordent. Those are all E's in the stem. It's just the pronunciation. Mordemus, long E, mordatus, long E, mordent, short E. But they're all spelled with an E. Imperfect, right? We do our bam, bas, bat, bamus, batis, bant. Right? So morde bamus, morde batis, morde bant. And future for first and second conjugation, we use bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, abunt. Okay? So we have those as our reference points, but what we're doing down here, okay, as I zoom out a little bit, is actually putting this into practice. So here are some verb forms. We're going to identify them. Person and number means who's doing it, right? And for a verb, we're looking at those last couple of letters, right? O-S-T, mustis, int. And that O can sometimes be an M. So sometimes it's M-S-T, mustisint. Particularly with the imperfect, right? Morde bam, we're going to use the M. Then when we're trying to figure out the tense, present is just going to be the stem all by itself. Imperfect is going to have the BA, and future is going to have the bo be boo. And then the meaning is, of course, on the front of the verb. So when I look at moebas, I see the S on the end. That tells me second person singular. I see that it's bas, right, B-A, which tells me that it's imperfect. To translate, second person singular is you. Imperfect, you were. Moeo, you were moving. You could also say you moved. Those are both acceptable translations. Depending on the situation, sometimes the was or were doesn't sound too good. Amabitis, so I see the tis on the end. You can't just look at the S on the end. You got to check and see what the whole situation is. So TIS, that's second person plural. It's bitis, BI, so that's future. Second plural, you all, future, will, amare means love. Y'all will love. There we go. Wokabo, right? I have an O on the end, so that's first person singular. Bo, B-O, that's future. Oops. First singular, future. So first person singular, I, future, will, wokare, call. Wokabo, I will call. Respondemos, right? Mus is my ending, so that is first person plural. I've got my mus, and then in front of that is just responde. That's just my stem. So this is regular old present tense. So first plural, we. We don't need any helping verbs here because it's present, but respondeo means answer. So we answer. That's all. Any questions on those first five while I take a much needed sip of water? Get your pogs in the chat. Hey, Mark. Ooh, too much talking today. And then I got open house. Oh boy. I cannot lose my voice. All right, monstratis. My ending here is tis. So that is second person plural. Monstratis. So in front of the ending is just monstra. That's just the stem. So that is present. And that means you all show. Or y'all point out, y'all demonstrate. A lot of different ways you can translate monstro. Dabam, which is not debam. Dabam is first person singular. And that bam, B-A, tells me it is imperfect. So I was giving. Sometimes you don't really say I was giving you a gift. You just say I gave you a gift. So that might be one of those situations where the was is never really a good translation. Videmus, first person plural for mus. Vide mus, there's no ba, there's no bobi boo, so this is just present. We see. Timebis, so I have the s on the end, that's second person singular. It's bis, right, bobi boo, so that is future. And timeo is to be afraid, so you will be afraid. Nailed it. I see you, Mark. And then the of, right? Don't be fooled, though, because it doesn't go with genitive. It goes with accusative. Laborabant, so we have third, because the nt, we have third plural. Laborabant, BA, tells me it's imperfect. So they were working. Habebunt, also third plural. Because it's bunt this time, it is future. They will have, or hold, depending on the situation. They will possess. I threw these two verbs at you in a row so you could recognize the difference between them. Habitamus. Habitamus, that's first person plural because of the mus. Habitamus, that's just present tense. No extra markers in there. And habito means we live, right? And it's the idea of we live in a certain place. So you wouldn't use this to say, like, we are alive. You would use this to say, like, we live in Boston. That kind of living. So that's why sometimes you'll see it as, like, inhabit. Although in English we don't really, I wouldn't say I inhabit Boston. And eubatis, that is second person plural. That's eubatis, no boby boo. Don't be confused by the B in the stem, right? The verb is eubeo. So that B is part of the stem. This is just present. So you all command, y'all order. Can confirm. Oh, recently? Oh. Giancarlo, I blame Spanish because Spanish doesn't have like habitar. It just says vivir, right? And use it for both. Yo vivo, and it's I'm alive or I live someplace. We're going to give the L to Spanish on this one. All right, and some verb conjugation practice. Conjugate each verb in the present active system. That means present, imperfect, and future. So porto, portare, that's first conjugation. That's why my stem is going to be porta. Okay. First person singular is always the first principal part. Don't mess that one up. Just porto. Porto, portas. Yeah, I don't think it's a word. I was just saying that I don't think Spanish has that word. But maybe it does. I have no idea. Portat, portamus, portatis, portant. So for present, right, once you get past the first form, it's just the stem, porta, plus the endings. St, mus, tus, ent. Imperfect, we take that stem, porta, and we add our bam. So portabam, portab, oops, bas, portabat, portabamus, portabatis, portabant. And then future for first conjugation is your boby boo. So portabo, portabis, portabit, portabimus, portabitis, portabunt. So going through those one more time, nice and close, right? Porto, portas, portat, right? The A because it's first conjugation. Portamus, portatis, portant. Imperfect, we have our stem, porta, right? Bam, bas, bat, bamus, batis, bant. And then future, bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bont. And that's what a first conjugation verb looks like. All right, zooming out again to our second verb, which is eubeo, eubeira. So that is second conjugation. My stem is going to be eube with an E. First form, always just the first principal part, eubeo. Then I start using my stem, eubase, eubet, eubamus, eubatis, eubent. imperfect, be really, really careful with this. You start with your stem, ube, then you add bom. Don't be confused by the fact that there's already a B in the stem. Great, you got a B in the stem, you gotta add another one when you do bom ba spot. Ube bom, ube bas, ube bot, ube bamus, ube batis, ube bont. Giancarlo, were you guys doing some spoken Latin stuff? Is that where the issue came about? And then future, we have our stem ube bo, ube bis, ube bit, ube bimus, ube bitis, ube bunt. So I'll go through this one more time a little slowly. All right. So our first form, ubeo, comes right from the first principal part, right? I order. Once we get into the second person, right, we get our stem, ube, and then we start adding our endings. Ubase, ubet, ubemus, ubetis, ubent. I order, you order, he orders, we order, y'all order, they order. Imperfect, we take the stem, ube, and then we add our bomba spot. Bomba spot to spot. So yeah, you are going to have two B's in there. That's okay. And for future, ube bo, ube bis, ube bit, ube bimus, ube bitis, ube bunt. Whoa, that was a little too far zoomed out. All right, we're gonna go a little speed round on this one. So paro, right, is parare. So my stem is para, which does not mean stop. Para. So our first form is always the first principal part, paro. Once we get past there, paras, parats, paramus, paratus, parant, right? All those A's are in there because it's first conjugation. Imperfecto would be parabam, parabas, parabat, parabamus, parabatis, parabats. And then for future, parabo, parabis, parabit, parabimus, parabitis, parabont. So again, stem, right? Be careful with the very first form. Always get it from here. Don't try to put an A in there. It's going to be weird. So paro, paras, parats, paramus, paratis, parant with the A for first conjugation. Then we take our stem, para, bamba spot, bamba spot to spot. Same stem, bo bis bit, bimus bit is bont. And last one here, wideo, widere, so we have second conjugation. Our stem is going to be wida. First form comes from right here, wideo, wideo, wides, widet, widemus, widatus, oh, my long marks, widemus, widatus, and wident. Right, all E's. Imperfecto, we de bom, we de bas, we de bat, we de bamus, we de batis, we de bont. And last one, oh, it auto-corrected me to video. Get out of here with that. And finally, we de bo, vide bis, vide bit, vide bimus, vide bitus, vide bunt. All right, that is quite a bit of practice with first and second conjugation, okay? Ooh, baby, that's a lot of verbies. So if you're still struggling with this stuff, you know office hours are the place to go. You've got the slides from class, a lot of different ways that you can practice this stuff, okay? Chat, any final words? Stay in school, kids. And that's from a Latin school graduate. Always a pleasure, my guy. I'll be in office hours in a little bit. All right, guys. See you later.